talking about the Titans here. The Titans.
Swing and a drive, left field. It's gone! And it's gone! It is bedlam at the bank!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Podcast right here. You already know. Go fucking subscribe. Go follow.
You are now listening to the 302 Birds Phillies postgame show with Eric, Brendan, Dalt, and Ballpark Tommy. Proudly powered by TickPick. Check out the link in the bio for $10 off your first order today. Let's take it to the show.
That's what's in. What's up, everybody? Eric, also known as Shard, here with the 302 Birds post-game show. And what a bounce back win, dude. Again, I mean, like, they had a really rough road trip going into Boston and Baltimore. We played a really good Orioles team. They're a really complete team. But this is exactly what they needed coming off of those two horrible back-to-back losses. Phillies win 9-2 today against the San Diego Padres. That's what's in. But I got a special guest with me tonight, Gavin motherfucking Sweeney. What is up, dude?
Hello. Thank you for having me on again. I'm honored to be on. Thank you once again, bro.
No problem. But yeah, like Jordan said here, much needed win. I mean, I'm sure we're going to hear it on Twitter from all the critics that, oh, you beat a below 500 team. You just got your shit rocked. You just got your shit rocked by the Orioles. I got no beef with the Orioles, dude. I mean, like, I was having a discussion with an Orioles fan on Twitter earlier, and my whole thing is, I mean, they're a good team. They're very complete. I think they're the most complete team we played since the beginning of the year when the Braves were actually healthy. And I mean, AL wise, I think it's between them and the Yankees for the World Series. I don't see anybody on the AL side really competing with them right now. I know Yankees are going through some injuries as well, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, O's are a tough team to compete against. They're a really young, scrappy team. Wheeler just seemed like he was off yesterday. I know I did like a really quick show yesterday, and I can touch on some things from yesterday again. But I just think that them coming off of London was just not – them coming off of London without a day's rest was fucking whack. Like, whoever made the schedule just seemed to fuck us over with that. Your off day was spent traveling, which does not really count as an off day because you're traveling. Like, you don't have time to yourself other than maybe in the hotel room to fucking sleep. Like,
yeah, for sure.
It just kind of fucked them over there. But I mean, we're back home. We have a really good record at home. I think we're like 27-29 or something at home. So, but going into our first topic, the one thing I want to talk about is, let me pull it up here. Christopher Sanchez, absolutely dominant tonight. Exactly what you want to see from your fourth starter. He, I think, is the first pitcher to go 7 innings pitched here in a few games. I know everybody's been going like 4, 5, 6. So he goes 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, third lowest ERA game of the season at 2.91. And his regular season ERA is at 3.07. So again, I mean, exactly what you want from your fourth guy. Honestly, I think he could be a number 2, number 3 guy on any other team, but I need Walker to step the fuck up. Everybody's doing their job other than him.
Yep, for sure, dude. Well, 100%. Walker, it's just, he's not worth his contract. I'm pretty sure his contract is worth, $60 million when we signed him?
Like,
so
like
he just hasn't lived up to it ever since last season. His last start, I will say I was impressed by him because he didn't give up as many runs, so I was pretty surprised by his last start. But the money that he's getting paid, it's just not – he just shouldn't be getting that money because he's just not worth that, in my opinion. He just doesn't go as many innings. He gives up too many runs and all of that. And if you look at last season, you can say, oh, well, he had whatever his record was for wins and losses ratio. He had this many wins, this many losses. Yeah, he did, but look his ERA. He had a high ERA, and the only reason why he had a lot of wins last season is because for some reason we would always hit for him.
It's the same too.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Walker just needs to step up. I mean, we have him for what, another 3 years, 2 or 3?
2.
So yeah, he's just not worth the money that we're paying him. So he's the only guy in the rotation really that is the odd man out. Like he's like the black sheep in the rotation that's just not cutting it right now.
Right. And I think honestly, you know, the one thing I do want to talk about is I think, in my opinion, and this is a topic I'll get into in a few minutes, I think Sanchez, honestly, right now, is just really comfortable compared to last season, going from Walker to Sanchez. But I think, honestly, I think that Marchan, and again, this is a topic I'll get into in a minute, I think Marchan is honestly commanding pitches a lot more better than Stubbs.
I mean, yeah, you could say that. You could make the comparison 100%. For sure. And Marchan is, like you said, he's been, I mean, today he was great. He was what, 4 for 4?
4 for 4 like Wendy's, dude.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, you could definitely tell that Marchan is just getting more comfortable behind the plate. And it especially showed tonight after Sanchez's performance. But yeah, you could definitely make the comparison of him and Stubbs for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, like, excuse me. Looking at the stats here, it seems like almost everybody but Dahl had a hit today. I know Pache came in, but he didn't bat, right? He just came in for defensive.
Justice for the GOAT.
So looking at the stats here, Schwarber went 2 for 3, had 2 home runs. Turner went, which welcome back to Turner, by the way. Forgot to even mention that. Turner went 2 for 5, Harper 2 for 5. Sosa, I think, again, came in defensively, so I don't think he had any at-bats. Bohm, which we'll get into first. We'll get into a topic here in a second because I want to talk about him. 3 for 5. Stott, 1 for 4. I'll talk about him in a second. Merrifield, 0 for 1. Caskey, 2 for 4. Marsh, 2 for 3. Dahl, 0 for 4. I don't know what Dahl's problem is lately. And then Marchand, 4 for 4, dude. Like, Marchand had 2 runs batted in. So, I mean, like, he's just on a roll. I like Stubbs. I do. I think that, Stubbs is the guy that you need that's a backup. Like, he plays really well when JT's in the lineup. When JT's in the lineup and Stubbs comes in maybe like one game here or there, Stubbs is really good, especially when it comes to the short ball game, because Stubbs is not the guy that you're going to call up to do the long ball. But I think with Stubbs playing every day, it's just he needs to step up to the plate.
For sure, dude. And like you said, I mean, Stubbs, like you said, he's not a long ball guy. You just bring him in if you just need an RBI or something like that. But yeah, Stubbs is, I mean, I'm a little biased about Stubbs just because he's like their cheerleader. Like, he just brings those vibes.
He's the vibe guy for sure.
Yeah,
but
he really is. He's literally like, he's basically the fanatic, but not in the fanatic uniform. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just brings like that vibes and everything. But yeah, Stubbs, hitting wise has not been performing as well this season. And you can make up the excuse, well, he doesn't get at bats every day or blah, blah, blah. But it just comes down to right now, who's hitting, who's not. And since Marchand is up now you're going to be able to compare Stubbs and Marchand, because now you could see, okay, Marchand's doing this offensively and then defensively. So you can make those two comparisons and look, okay, who do I want? Do I want Marchand as JT's backup or Stubbs JT's backup? Or you could keep both of them up just in case and just have Stubbs be like that cheerleader guy. I don't know. But you could definitely, for sure, make that comparison and decide who you want.
Yeah, I mean, you could keep them both up. Is it realistic? Probably not, just because I feel like once JT's back, you kind of have to have a spot for somebody else. And I'll talk about that here in a second. But I do think if Marchand can keep it up, I think Rob really needs to sit down and look at, okay, do we want to keep Stubbs? Do we want to have Marchand be our backup guy and go from there? I know Stubbs has been here for a couple of years. I get that. I just don't think offensively Stubbs is what we need right now. And again, Marchand has only played a couple games. I mean, this is like a short, small little pool that we're pulling from to kind of compare. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think they're going to really do anything with Marchand. I think once JT's back, probably if he's out 4 to 6 weeks, it'll probably be August, honestly. And with the catcher position, he's going to be out probably longer, in my opinion, because that's such a strenuous position. Because I mean, you're bending up and down, you're putting stress on that muscle that he had to get surgery on. So we'll see. I think they might, like you said, keep them both and see what Marchand can do in the postseason.
That could be. And going back to the JT situation, you're absolutely right about the muscle thing. And his return date was after All-Star break, but looking at it now, I'm going to be honest, there's no way he's going to be back in July.
No,
there's no shots. He was seen at the dugout today, or just with the players, which is good. But what I have realized and read so far, they're not talking about his surgery at all, which isn't really the best sign because I feel like they're hiding something. The last thing that Rob Thompson said about JT was it went what we expected, or it was whatever we expected, or something like that. So they haven't really been talking about if it was good or bad. They're keeping it low down, which is a little concerning, because that kind of gives the indicator that he is going to be out longer. But yeah, all Phillies fans, JT is not coming back in July. I just don't see it happening, especially that he's a catcher and he has to be on his knees. So just be on the lookout at whatever you can see to see updates about him, because the only thing really is that he got out of surgery. Other than that, there's no sort of rehab assignment or any type of drills to get him back right now.
Yeah, I think honestly they'll probably, because I mean, Trey didn't even have a rehab assignment. He just kind of ran the bases and did drills.
Yeah.
I think personally you probably want to put JT at a rehab assignment. We'll see what happens. I mean, I know it varies. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think honestly right now, though, I think Marchand's doing what we need him to do, especially with JT being out. And if he can keep that up, it's definitely a good I guess, I mean, if there's a hole in the boat, Marchand's the patch for that boat. So
for sure. And I'm very impressed with Marchand so far, because if you look at it, he hasn't played in the majors since 2021, and he was out all last season. He didn't play a single game last season. He was out. So the fact that he came up and just went 4 for 4 tonight and has been underrated so far shows a big improvement from him. And it shows that if something does happen to Stubbs or JT again, Marchand should be available. Now, if you put it where, okay, Marchand goes down, so now it's only Stubbs, what do you do? In my opinion, the only way is, of course, you have Garcia, who's in like AA. He's not going to be good. You're probably going to have to trade for someone. And I think by the deadline, they are going to acquire a catcher. Honestly, they're either going to trade Muirfield or Pache, honestly, for a catcher. But that's only if Marchand or Stubbs goes down. If they don't expect any type of catcher move by the deadline.
Yeah, I don't really know about a catcher, maybe. I think right now they're more so focused on Luis Robert Jr., and then I think they're focused on can't think of the name. He's from the Marlins. He's a right-handed pitcher.
Tanner Scott. Is it Tanner Scott?
I think that's his name. I know they want to get a closer because the whole thing with the closing situation is like once Kimbrel left, I don't think they could fill that hole. And it's like the beginning of the season, you kind of had a closer by committee where you're bringing in guys to see who can close. I don't really know if that's – I mean, it's working to an extent, but I still think you need a closer. You need a guy that can come in 2 nights in a row and then a break, 2 more nights just to close. And I was saying this the other night, I think, honestly, the money that you didn't use with trying to get Yamamoto, you take that money, you divvy it up. You don't have to get high-tier guys. You can get mid guys, honestly, guys that can get the job done. You go out, you get a closer, you get a right-handed outfield bat because our lineup is a lot of lefties. I feel like you need another right-handed bat to throw in there. So I think there's a lot of things that they can get at the trade deadline. But I do agree with you. I think if you can find a way to get out of Merrifield's contract, get out of that. You can't get out of Walker's contract as much as I would fucking love that.
Yeah, no team is gonna want that contract. No one is gonna want it.
Nobody's gonna want the contract as much as I would love for them to get out of that contract. But I do think in a trade package, it all depends on what other teams want, and I already know what they're gonna want.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna want Andrew Painter. They're gonna want
Miller.
They're gonna want Miller. They're gonna want Crawford. They're gonna want
Lassen.
They're gonna want people that we're probably not going to give up. And me and Matt were talking about this earlier on the TikTok live. I don't think you should give them up. I mean, look at the Orioles, right? This is what Matt said. So shout out to Matt. I don't want to, take credit for something I didn't say. But Matt had a good point earlier. He was like, the Orioles don't really ever trade for high-tier guys because they have so many good guys that they promote from within. And he was like, the Phillies just need to do that. They need to just promote from within. And I think we've done a good job this season doing that.
For sure. 100%, dude. 100%. But they better not trade Miller or Crawford or Pena or anyone. They need to keep them because, Aiden Miller's a beast. I know that you can say, oh, well, he's in the minors, blah, blah, blah. But at his age right now, he's performing really well. Same with Crawford. So I don't think right now they should trade him. You just let them develop and see how they are. But yeah, they need to keep those young guys because look at, like you said, the Baltimore thing happened. They kept all of them, and it worked at the end of the day for them.
Right. I don't want to go back to a farm system from the late 2010s, early 2020s, because our farm system back then was just absolutely abysmal. I think once Dave Dombrowski came in, he kind of, granted, he didn't always have the best farm system from where was he at before the Phillies? Was it Giants, I want to say? I could be wrong.
I think it was. Yeah.
He didn't have the best farm system in his previous team. I think he's learned from that, and I think he's doing a way better job than what he previously did. But we'll see what happens with that. But
thanks, Ruben, for messing up the farm system.
But going into the next topic, I want to talk about Alec Bohm here for a second. Alec Bohm was in an absolute slump before these past couple series. Was not producing, was not, getting those RBIs that we know that he was getting. It seemed like, ever since he lost that hitting streak, he kind of went downhill from there. It seems like he's finally getting his groove back. He went, I believe, 3 for 5 tonight. Had a 3-run home run into left field, which was great to see. So it seems like he's getting his confidence back. He's at 60 RBI right now, right behind Marcelo Zuna, who's sitting at 62. So if Bohm can get his RBI up, he'll have the top RBI in the NL. I know he's pretty much a fucking lock for All-Star right now. I think he's ahead by like a couple 100,000 votes.
I think Machado was at 200K and he was over 1 million. Like
it was like it wasn't even like close.
It wasn't close.
So I'm glad that he's getting the recognition that he deserves. I know, Dalt has said it a couple times that seeing him progress from when he first was called up and the I fucking hate it here to now, like it just seems like he's getting his, I guess you call it like getting your flowers or something like that. Like he's found where he needs to be. He's owned up to his mistakes and like he's that guy that's your third baseman. He's a gold caliber third baseman. Granted, he had an error tonight. Whatever, it happens. But like he's so fucking good right now. Like this is his breakout season. He's just so fucking good.
For sure. Look, and like Dalt said, just after his rookie season, everything like that. Big shout out to Kevin Long for helping him perform, fix his swing and whatever. But he's been great. I mean, last season he had over 100 RBIs, and this season he has 60 now in June, which is crazy for his age. But yeah, all the Alec Bohm haters, man, look at him now. I mean, he's probably gonna win Gold Glove for third baseman. I would say so. But he is on a tear right now, and it's really good for him. Like Dalt said, when he came to Philly, he didn't have the best start. But now everyone loves him. He's amazing. He's consistent now. And every hitter goes through a slump. You can't really be that upset when a hitter goes through a slump because everyone goes through one. And Bohm is such a great hitter, and he's too good of a hitter to continue a slump. So, of course, he's going to break out of it almost right away. He's a beast. But, yeah, really, I'm really happy for Bohm. He deserves it. He deserves all of it right now.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to talk about that started today, for all my East Coast people that know what Wawa is, Hoagie Fest started today. And you know what that means when Hoagie Fest starts? Means Kyle fucking Schwarber starts heating the fuck up. Had two two-run home runs tonight. First home run was an 82-mile-per-hour ball right down the middle. That's your first mistake there. Right down the middle, and a low velocity right down the middle. That's your mistake. Second home run was, I believe, towards the corner, but still a low velocity. And both of them were to the bullpen, which is like right center field, super deep. So like he had power behind both of those home runs. So it is June. We have 13 more days of June. So hopefully that's a home run each and every night. That's 13 more home runs. Probably won't happen, but can be, unrealistic with expectations. But kudos to Kyle Schwarber. Hopefully, he keeps that up. June is his month. And it seems like every time Kyle hits a home run, we win games. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's on a tear. I mean, it is June. It's his month, like you said. He's an absolute beast. If you just look at his stats, he has so many home runs in June. It's unbelievable. But yeah, like you said, it's his month. He's performing well. I saw a stat today that he leads the National League in walks, which is insane. But yeah, I mean, he's having a decent season. I mean, around this time last season, he was batting at like 177. So he's definitely improved from last season. But yeah, he's just continuing to hit his bombs in June, and he's seeing the ball really good right now, and he's drawing up walks, and his on base percentage is really good. But yeah, like you said, it's June, it's his month.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand the argument of, Kyle's not a good leadoff. Kyle only hits home runs. Kyle doesn't do the short ball. But piggybacking off of what you said, the guy leads and walks. If you can get a guy at leadoff that walks to first base, that's the same as a single. And if you have your second, third, fourth, whatever guy come behind him and, drive him in, that's a run. So, I'll take that any day of the week. If you can see the ball well and you can walk, I'll take it. It's not the end of the world.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, like you said, everyone can say he sucks. He only hits home runs. He has a low average, but if you look at the stats, he leads the National League in walks. He's killing it right now. And right now, he's probably, I'm going to say, he's kind of underrated because no one is seeing that his stats are great. I mean, it's not easy to lead the National League in walks when you have Freddie Freeman, you have Shohei Ohtani, you have all these great players in the National League. So yeah, I mean, Schwarber, he's doing really, really well. And like you said, they're 1 through 4. It's amazing. Any pitcher is going to be scared to face Schwarber, Turner, Harper, and Bohm. That is a scary top 4. Terrifying. I would not want to face them at all. But yeah, Schwarber's doing great. All those Schwarber haters out there, look at his stats, watch him play, and then get back to me. But I mean, yeah, so far so good with him.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I like that Kyle can hit the long ball. Don't get me wrong. I wish that he could get his short ball game going, but I'll take the walks. But going into our last topic, and the one thing that I want to talk about.
Philly going down to yellow and brown. That's what's in. Padres on the loose. Let's go, Goose. That's what's in. Bryce gonna lose, and Manny's gonna cruise. That's what's in. Give Philly no slack and send them back. That's what's in.
So yeah, dude. That's what's in. It seems like
It never gets old. It never gets old.
Jordan said gay ass song. So I want to bring up a stat that ever since that song, between June 2019 and June 2024 today, San Diego Padres have a record of 9-18 against us. So like they don't do well against us ever since they released that song. And I think it's absolutely funny. I will say that, I know we did sweep them in the beginning of the season. I know the Mets just swept them as well. I could see them getting swept back to back.
Yes, absolutely.
Knock on wood. But like, I know the Padres, when we first played them, they didn't have Luis. They got him from I believe the Mariners, a couple weeks ago. But like even Luis, I know he does well against us usually, but even tonight, I think he had like 3 groundouts against us. So like, I don't know. I can see the Phillies sweeping them back to back, coming off of the Mets. And I think it's what they need to build confidence, especially before you go into your series with the Diamondbacks. And I know we have a vengeance out for the Diamondbacks, especially after what happened last season. So I think this is going to be a good week of baseball coming up.
For sure. And against the Diamondbacks, I don't know if you knew, but they're doing their ring ceremony for the NLCS rings when we play them in Arizona. Like that's when they give out the rings when we play them. So that should be something to watch. As you guys know, don't poke the bear. Don't make Harper mad. But yeah, that's going to be a great series to get revenge on them and everything. But like you said, yeah, they can definitely sweep San Diego. I mean, we practically own them by now. We always do well against them. Schwarber always rakes against them. But yeah, they just haven't been the same after everything. Because was it 2 years ago when they signed all those players? Like they focused only on offense. They got Soto. They got who's the guy from Boston? Was it
I can't remember honestly.
Whatever. He was the shortstop for them. Whatever his name was. But they got him, and now they have Arise. But yeah, San Diego isn't just they're just not a really solid team. They have great players, don't get me wrong, with Machado and Tatis. But they just don't have like that, I guess, that push, maybe you could say, to make them a good team. But they can, yeah, the Phillies can definitely sweep them for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and thanks for pointing that out, Luke. That's my bad. Yeah, I don't know why I said Mariners. The Marlins.
I was gonna correct you, but I didn't want to be rude.
No. It's just they're both fucking M team names. No, Luke called me out on my bullshit, so thanks, Luke. But yeah, just the Seattle. Why do I keep saying Seattle? The fucking Marlins.
The Miami Marlins, bro. They're
Miami Marlins, whatever. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I think it'll be a good series. I mean, we might lose one. It seems like that's typically what happens, but we'll see. We'll see. But that's all we have for you guys tonight. Phillies win 9-2. So great bounce back win. Thank you, Gavin, for coming on. For those of you that don't know, Gavin has started sports reporting on Twitter as well as, I believe, for his local town. So if you guys are in, Pennsylvania, keep an eye out for that. Definitely follow Gavin on Twitter, though. He does post lineups. He posts live stats. He posts breaking news. So definitely, one of the better guys to follow on Twitter.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's reliable. So where can they find you on Twitter and all your other stuff?
Yes, thank you. But yeah, thank you once again, bro, for having me on. I love coming on. It's always a fun time. I love talking about the Phillies and such. But yeah, dude, thank you once again for having me on.
Of course. And what was your
The Twitter should be at Gavin Sweeney 18.
At Gavin Sweeney 18. All right, cool. So for those of you that want to follow, go ahead and drop a follow. Always appreciative there. But yeah, again, that's all we have for you. So gonna go ahead and roll the damn outro. Have a good night, everybody.
The Vikings!
Swing and a drive, left field. It's gone! And it's gone! It is Bedlam at the bank!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball!
Can't hear you. Podcast.